With college football playoff spots on the line across the nation, championship week looms large. If the USC Trojans can avenge their only loss in a rematch against Utah, Coach Lincoln Riley's team will complete an improbable turnaround that would almost certainly land it in the Final Four. TCU needs to beat Kansas State for the second time this year to continue its undefeated run. Michigan and Georgia may be in good enough shape to get in the playoff even with a loss, but does either one really want to tempt that? Teams on the outside looking in, such as Ohio State, Alabama, and Tennessee, are sitting at home, simply waiting for the carnage to unfold to see if they have a chance. The latter two teams have a pair of losses, but are not totally out of the picture. Then there is a New Year's Day bowl berth on the line in the American Athletic Conference championship game, which is a rematch of November 12th's great contest between Tulane and UCF. So who's going to take care of business? We got the answers right here. Hello, friends, and welcome to the season finale of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined by good old MF Michael Fletcher, maybe awaiting the presence of Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll hopefully have him back with us tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk. But how has it been 3 months already? That's just mind-boggling that it's already been 3 months, and here we are. I feel like just yesterday we started a brand new season of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday, and now, wow, season finale already. It's just insane. But you know how we do it? It's championship week. We have 6 conference championship games that we're going to address. And let's not waste any more time, and let's dive right on in. The first championship game we're going to get into will be the Pac-12 championship game that goes down tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern on Fox, as it will feature the number 4 USC Trojans squaring off against the number 11 Utah Utes. Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada. That's where the Pac-12 championship game will be played. On the call for that one will be Jason Benetti, Brock Heward, and Allison Williams. USC opening up as a 2.5-point favorite. It's not a lot of fun to go status quo with picks, but every time a challenge has been thrown in front of the USC Trojans this year, they've answered other than once. That came when the Utes honored late players Ty Jordan and Aaron Lowe on October 15 in an emotional 43-42 Utah win. It was a special game, but that was a different Utes team, and this is a different Trojans team that will play at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Caleb Williams is the Heisman frontrunner, and Lincoln Riley will have a date with destiny and the college football playoff if he wins. The Pac-12 needs this, and I believe it's going to happen. It's going to be another high-scoring game. It's going to be another close game, but I think USC gets their payback on Utah. USC ekes it out. I'm going to say 40-34. USC defeats Utah, wins the Pac-12 championship, and advances to the college football playoff. So not much more for me to say on this. So good old MF Michael Fletcher. Pac-12 championship, USC, if they get their revenge against Utah, they're in.
And what a season for Lincoln Riley, man. He was absolutely decimated after leaving Oklahoma, going to USC, and now he's ahead of schedule. He's ahead of the schedule that the vision of USC had for the program, for him, and for what the team could do. I don't think nobody thought that USC was going to be this good, this fast in 1 year. But here they are. Pac-12 championship game and a golden ticket to the college football playoffs is in play. However, there is a team standing in their way. A team that's already beaten them earlier in the year and is the defending Pac-12 champions, and that's the Utah Utes. So obviously, yes, going into this, you can say that USC is the favorite. A lot of people feel like they are the better squad, that they should win this one, and everything else. Utah's going to give them a lot of fits. They're going to give them a lot of problems. And I even see this maybe being close for 3/4. But I think in the fourth, that's when USC will finally figure it out, and they will actually get that devastating touchdown, the backbreaking touchdown that should cement the victory for them and give them everything that they wanted. Pac-12 title, the birth in the college football playoff, they cement their legacy. And on top of that, one of the Mount Rushmores of college football is back in the national spotlight. USC wins it 45-35 over Utah. They win the Pac-12. They're off to the playoffs. Anthony, it's yours.
All right, MF, and you'll be leading off on our next championship game as we move into the Saturday portion of it. 12 noon, high noon. This game will be on ABC, and it will be the Big 12 championship game, featuring the number 3 TCU Horned Frogs squaring off against the number 10 Kansas State Wildcats, AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas, Jerry World, as we always call it. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowe will be on the call for it. TCU opening up as a 2.5-point favorite. MF, you mentioned it, as you were hyping the show at the end of last night's show, talking about USC and TCU having the pressure on them and not so much on Georgia and Michigan. You talked about SC. Now let's get into TCU. Can they punch their ticket and come out of nowhere and make the playoff this year like Cincinnati did last year?
I say yes, and I think that they will. And here's the one thing. Now I'm hearing all of the negative about, if TCU loses, they're out. I disagree. I think if TCU should lose the game, their strength of schedule is number 1 in the nation. Now, if it's a close loss, if they lose like by a field goal or something like that, I still believe they get in. Because here's the thing. Alabama's got 2 losses. They are not that dominating. Their losses doesn't hold any water. As far as Ohio State goes, yes, they lost. Yes, their only loss was to Michigan, but they got blown out. There's no way on earth you're going to reward them there. So, to me, I feel like if TCU loses the game and loses close, I still believe they get in. But they're not going to waste all that. They're not going to let a stone unturned. They're going for it. And they're going to go for the jugular. They're going to go for it all. And they're going to win it. They are not going to let the committee give any situation, any problem here. They're going to look to slam the door on Oklahoma, they're going to slam the door on Alabama. They're slamming the door on Ohio State. They will capture one of the Final Four spots. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. TCU finishes the job, remains undefeated, and wins the Big 12 title. They'll win it in Jerry World. It's going to be a tight one. I think it's going to be 41-37, but I got TCU eking out the victory and winning the Big 12 title. Anthony, it's yours.
If there are any doubters left who believe the TCU Horned Frogs don't belong, well, Coach Sonny Dykes, quarterback Max Duggan and company are laughing all the way to the Big 12 championship game. But the team that awaits them at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas is no pushover. The Kansas State Wildcats led TCU 28-10 in late October before the Horned Frogs stormed back and won 38-28 in what would soon characterize their season of cardiac moments. Along the way, TCU started playing much better. I should say they started playing much better defense, and a championship run awaited. Coach Chris Kleeman's Wildcats could play spoiler and then leave it in the hands of the committee whether a one-loss TCU team belongs in the playoff. There's always a chance for that happening. But considering that TCU, considering, everything that they've been through this year and the whole nine, especially that Baylor game recently, how can they not? I mean, they are this year what Cincinnati was last year, a team that we honestly did not expect to go on such a run. And here they are. So, and I think they will get it done. I agree with MF. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be high scoring, but I got it a little lower than MF has it. I'm going to say TCU finds a way to win. I'm going to say 37-34. TCU wins the Big 12 championship and punches their ticket to the college football playoff. And what a story that would be. And Sonny Dykes should most certainly should be one of the front runners for Coach of the Year, as well as Lincoln Riley. So that's just what I can say about that. So with that, we move on. We have 2 championship games that are going to be played at 4:00. But of course, the higher rankings take precedent, and we move on to the SEC championship game featuring the number 1 team in all the land, your reigning, defending, undisputed college football playoff national champion, Maiden Georgia Bulldogs, squaring off against the number 14 LSU Tigers, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. The season finale, if you will, of the SEC on CBS. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Jenny Dell, they'll be there. Georgia opening up as a 17.5-point favorite. What a topsy-turvy season it's been for the LSU Tigers and Coach Brian Kelly's first year. They lost to Florida State to open the season and were blown out of the water by Tennessee. But a second-half surge that included a win over Alabama sent them into the college football playoff conversation, only to see them lay an egg against Texas A&M in the regular season finale. Defending national champion Georgia, meanwhile, has been the undefeated picture of consistency. While LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels could cause issues for the Bulldogs, the Georgia defense is just too good. And the Bayou Bengals can't hang with them, especially in what's going to be like a UGA home game in Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I could see it being close for 3 quarters, but then Georgia opens it up in the 4th and once again punches their ticket to the college football playoff and a chance to defend their national championship. Georgia wins. I have them defeating LSU. My final score, 34-17. The Maiden Georgia Bulldogs, once again SEC champions, and will be back to defend their national championship in the upcoming college football playoff on New Year's Eve. So there isn't much more to say here. MF. Oh, LSU. What could have been if they didn't lay that egg against A&M? Oh.
And that's the key thing, because this could have been a battle for the college football playoff. It would have been, because Georgia already cemented their spot. But if LSU would have won, I think we'd be talking about LSU maybe getting in because of their body of work, everything else. They would have had that big win over Alabama. You could have hold that as a marker, and then another win over Texas A&M. Those would have been 2 top quality wins, and that's the thing that you want to see, especially going into the college football playoff. You want to see quality wins, and that would have been the recipe that you would have needed to get in. When you're a one-loss team, that's what you need. Quality wins minus the 1 loss, whoever that loss was. But that loss to A&M basically ended everything. Everything for them went down in flames when that stampede happened with the 12th man at in Texas. But this is now it's basically, if you're Georgia, you're basically defending your number one spot. That's all it is. You're defending your number one spot. You're defending, your SEC title. Well, no, they're not the SEC champions. Alabama was the SEC champions. But you would become the SEC champions. You would successfully defend your number one spot going into the playoff, because that's all you're fighting for right now. The body of work is perfection. You vanquished all your opponents. You had a couple of scary games, but you were able to get the job done. You are guaranteed a spot. I think going in, you were like 99% in the college football playoff. That means you are guaranteed a spot. It does not matter if you win this game or you lose it. If you lose it, you're not going to be number one going in. You will not be the number one team going in. You'll probably be 2, maybe 3, but 2 is probably going to be at best where you're going to go. I think it's going to be Georgia. They obviously are going to want to play, that game. They're going to want to win it. They will win it. They will get the job done. Georgia will be the number one team going into the college football playoff. Anthony, I give it to you.
All right, MF, and you'll be leading off on our next championship game, the sleeper championship game of this schedule here. As this will also be a 4:00 kickoff, and this will be over on ABC, as it will be the American Athletic Conference championship game, featuring the number 18 Tulane Green Wave hosting the number 22 UCF Knights, Yulman Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana. That's where Tulane plays. And Tulane opening up as a 4-point favorite. On the call for that game, I forgot to mention Dave Patch, Dusty Dvorak, and Tom Luganbill. And once again, Tulane opening up as a 4-point favorite. MF, can Tulane complete this? We talk about teams coming out of nowhere. Who honestly had the Tulane Green Wave not only in the title game, but hosting it and a chance to find themselves in a New Year's bowl game here?
Yeah. Winner of this game gets a guaranteed New Year's 6 spot. And that is a major, major, major thing. UCF was there, and they got their golden moment. And boy, did they make the most of their opportunity when they got there. Now, Tulane has been one of those teams that's been really good, flying under the radar, and they have been, in many people's eyes, one of the best teams out there all season long. So, yeah, do I think it's going to be, can they get the job done? I think they can. And I do believe Tulane will figure it out, will get the job done, and give me the Tulane Green Wave to win the AAC, the American Athletic Conference. I do believe they will be heading off to the New Year's 6, and then we're just going to wait and see who they play. There is a rumor going around. It might be Clemson. Clemson might be that team. We'll wait and see, but there is rumors that it could be Clemson, or do they give them the biggest test of their life? Do they toss them to Alabama? Because that's another team that I've been hearing that could end up getting one of the New Year's 6. That if there's a New Year's 6 game, that it's either going to be Clemson or Alabama could possibly be on the verge of facing the AAC winner. What a matchup. What an ultimate David versus Goliath if you get one of those two to face off at. Now, I'm not talking no Boise State versus Oklahoma here in the Fiesta Bowl.
Oh, no.
But this will be a very interesting match. So, Florio, it's yours.
On November 12th, John Reese Plumlee and his UCF Knights rolled into Yulman Stadium and spoiled Tulane's perfect AAC season with a 38-31 win in which Plumlee threw for 132 yards and ran for 176 more. Don't expect that to happen again. Running back Ty J. Spears and quarterback Michael Pratt appear on a mission, and after UCF's dicey win over South Florida last week, I don't expect anything to change in the Green Wave's wild run. I believe in them, and I believe they're New Year's Six bound. Close game into the fourth quarter, but I think Tulane will put it away with a late touchdown. Give me Tulane to win the American Athletic Conference Championship. My final score, 38-27. Tulane pays back UCF and will be on their way to a New Year's Six bowl. Wow, what a story. All right, 2 games left, and we go from 2 4 o'clock games to 2 8 o'clock prime time championship games. And next up, the game that Goodell MF Michael Fletcher, as well as Michael Bullock, will have the most vested interest in out of all these games. The Big Ten championship game. They're number 2. They're now number 2. Michigan Wolverines squaring off against the Purdue Boilermakers. Lucas Oil Stadium, Indianapolis, Indiana. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, Allison Williams pulling double duty. Allison Williams will be working the Pac-12 championship on tomorrow night. And then she'll be working with Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt Saturday night for the Big Ten championship. And Michigan opening up as a 17-point favorite. The wild, wild Big Ten West saw so much tumult this year that it took Iowa losing to lowly Nebraska for the Purdue Boilermakers to get back into the title game opposite Michigan. Unfortunately for the Wolverines, the Boilermakers actually play a little offense. So they were always the division's best chance to upset a team from the East in Indianapolis's Lucas Oil Stadium. Still, you simply can't bet against Michigan. The Wolverines are good all over the place with Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum, if his knee is healthy, running the ball behind arguably the nation's top offensive line. They also feature a stout defense and young budding star quarterback J.J. McCarthy. Purdue will keep it close for a while, but it will not win. I got the Michigan Wolverines successfully defending their Big Ten championship from last year. They will win it again this year. My final score, 36-21. Michigan knocks off Purdue, wins the Big Ten championship, goes back to the college football playoff, and there isn't much more to say except I'm gonna toss it off now to who I know is, without a doubt, a very happy, encouraged, and excited Michigan Wolverines superfan, Goodell MF Michael Fletcher. Last year was one thing, but this year maybe even more special. Probably is even more special because of, like we talked about last Saturday night for that brief moment, when Michigan did the unthinkable, went into the horseshoe, kicked the door down, and made themselves at home. I honestly did not expect it. You guys probably didn't expect it, but guess what? J.J. McCarthy picked the best time to have his best game. And Donovan Edwards, are you sure it wasn't Blake Corum in Donovan Edwards' body? Wow.
Yeah, no, that was Donovan Edwards. And unfortunately, we just got the bad news. Blake Corum is done. The knee injury is too severe. Not only is he not playing in the Big Ten championship, he will not be playing in the college football playoff when Michigan gets there. He's out for the semifinal game. He's out for the final if we get there. So Blake Corum, this is a horrible way to end your career in Michigan, but we are thankful and very appreciative of the 2 years that you have done for us. You've been a workhorse. You've been absolutely amazing. We wish you a speedy recovery, and we wish you nothing but the best. As a Michigan fan, thank you for everything you've done for us, and we wish you nothing but the best in your career in the National Football League, because you will be a star in the NFL, and any team that gets this young man is gonna have a bona fide star in their hands because this guy was, you know, when it comes to Jim Harbaugh, he makes men in Michigan. And this guy is a Michigan man. And like we say, he is going to be a star in the National Football League for years to come. We wish him nothing but the best. But like you said, Anthony, it's always next man up. Braylon Edwards is that next man up. Huh?
Donovan Edwards.
Donovan Edwards, sorry. Donovan Edwards is the next man up for Michigan. You saw what he did, carving and weaving and slicing and dicing that Ohio State Buckeye defense. And at the end, we cemented our place in the college football playoff. We cemented our place in the Big Ten championship and proving that last year was not a fluke. We actually did it. We did it our way, the hard way. Hard-nosed defense, another top 10 defense, and the offense got going. We had a controversy at quarterback. Was it going to be McNamara? Was it going to be JJ? And lo and behold, JJ came out of it. He was our guy, and he had the dual threat. Running the football, passing the football. And they did both. Normally it was more running at the beginning. Now he's become a quality thrower, and you saw it against one of the best defenses in the Big Ten, one of the most elite defenses in college football, when he went up against Ohio State in the Horseshoe in front of 105,000 fans, and he silenced the Scarlet all game. Silenced them with 5 devastating big play touchdowns. 3 through the air, 2 because of Edwards on the ground, 75 yards, and then the dagger that ended the game, the 85-yard scamper that ended it. And that was the moment where we sliced the head off the snake, because that for me, that 85-yarder was literally 22 years of anger, of heartbreak, of everything, slaying the dragon right before our very eyes. And at that point, it did not matter. That team out west was slain again. And now you've been hearing it. All the negativity, all the stuff, everything about, how could this be happening? How could this happen? It's simple. We're better than you, and you know it. Now, as far as Purdue goes, they are a good offense, and they actually got a sneaky good defense too. So this is going to be a little trickier than usual. But like you said, top 10 defense. JJ has figured out what he needs to do. We got all the guys that we need. The one minor concern, and it is a concern, is our tight end, Luke Schoonemaker. He's the one that I'm a little worried about because he did suffer an injury. They're saying it's undisclosed. So we hope that he'll be able to play in the Big Ten championship game. If he does, that's great for Michigan. That's another weapon that we could use. At the end of the day, I do believe Michigan will win it. I do believe they will win the Big Ten. And once again, we'll be punching our ticket to the college football playoff undefeated yet again. So we'll see. But I do believe Michigan will win it. So, Anthony, it's yours.
All right, MF, in the final, already at the end, the final championship game of the night, The other game that will be starting at 8 o'clock, this one will be over on ABC. The ACC championship game. The number 9 Clemson Tigers squaring off against the number 23 North Carolina Tar Heels. Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge, Molly McGrath will be on the call. Clemson opening up as a 7.5-point favorite. All right, MF, we close it out with the ACC championship game and what could have been for both of these teams if not for some unexpected slip-ups.
Yeah, unexpected slip-ups, especially for North Carolina. Losers of 2 in a row, and then they lost to their in-state rival. They lost to the Wolfpack of NC State in double overtime. But then if you're Clemson, yeah, you had an opportunity. Maybe if you ran the table, maybe you had a shot at college football playoff. But you fell to South Carolina. You got taken out by the Gamecocks, man. And
that's a team we got to take seriously next year.
Oh yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it. So the way I feel about this game is, I know a lot of people are actually saying that North Carolina should win this, but I kind of feel like this is Clemson because of the fact that they've been here before. They know what needs to be done, and whenever they play these championship games, they hardly ever lose these games. So it's going to be tight. It's going to be close. It's going to be a great game. But I do believe Clemson will figure it out. Dabo Swinney will figure it out. And Clemson will once again be heading off to a New Year's Six Bowl as the ACC champions. Anthony, it's yours.
And before I give you my opinion here, we have a final from Thursday Night Football. Michael Bullock, wherever you are, cover your ears, brother. You don't want to hear this. The Buffalo Bills have defeated the New England Patriots. The final score, 24-10. The Buffalo Bills defeat the New England Patriots at Gillette Stadium. Buffalo improving to 9-3. They've won 3 in a row. New England now drops to 6-6. And we will have a recap of this game Saturday night on NFL Saturday. But for right now, let's get into our final championship game of the night to close out another great season of college football Thursday here. Closing out the weekend slate, the quote-unquote nobody wanted it title game. The ACC was a colossal disappointment this year, and that's evidenced by the two teams playing for the championship at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. The Clemson Tigers never found their offense, and while they had a strong record, they butchered their shot at the playoff with a loss to rival South Carolina to close the season. After a strong start, North Carolina suffered embarrassing losses to Georgia Tech and a depleted NC State to end the year. Now we have to watch them battle it out. Yeesh. Neither of these teams looks like a championship contender. But we have to pick a winner here. I'm going with Clemson. I think Clemson gets it done. I think they'll eke it out. I think it will be a high-scoring affair, but I think Clemson will pull it out. I'm going to say final score of 37-31. Clemson defeats North Carolina. And with that, that will put the bow on not only this championship week edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday, but it also puts a bow on what has, without a doubt, been another great season of College Football Thursday. It's the first under this banner, under the TXN Sports World banner, after all those other seasons under our previous banner. But nonetheless, on behalf of good old MF Michael Fletcher, Michael Bullock, and all of us here, we wanted to simply take this moment to thank all of you wonderful fans and viewers out there for tuning in all season long. I can't believe it's already over. It seems like just yesterday we started another great season, but alas, it ends here tonight, and we simply say thank you for being the best fans in the world and for tuning in all season long and listening to our opinions on every game throughout the season. And we can't wait to do it again next year. That's all there is to say on that. So we will next be with you tomorrow night over at this time over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95, for another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. as we will recap Friday Night SmackDown, the SmackDown fallout from the Survivor Series, the SmackDown World Cup in the finals, Ricochet versus Santos Escobar. The winner faces Gunther for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship down the road, and a lot of other things. That will be live from Buffalo tomorrow night. And then, of course, we will also have our recap of AEW Rampage. Saturday night, 10:30, right back here on the Tone 25. The Week 13 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Saturday. Our final Saturday show before we move the show over to Thursday starting next week, as we will recap the Bills-Patriots game, and we will also preview the remaining games of week number 13. Notable games on the docket: the Washington Commanders, or should I say the New York Jets, squaring off against the Minnesota Vikings. The Washington Commanders squaring off against the New York Giants. We've also got the Tennessee Titans squaring off against the Philadelphia Eagles. A.J. Brown against his former team. The game that MF will have the most vested interest in of the week, his Miami Dolphins. Very tough test for them against the San Francisco 49ers. And then from there, the rematch of last year's AFC Championship game, our game of the week, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll get into all of them, but those are the big ones to watch for. And we'll definitely go in depth with those on Saturday night. So that's Saturday. And then Monday night, we do it all again, Ridiculously Raw. Monday Night Raw. And of course, my Tony's Take, Impact Wrestling, and 205, or I should say NXT Level Up. And then Wednesday Night Madness, MF will have it, Brace Fan 95, NXT, AEW Dynamite. And we will preview next Thursday night's football game, which is right now on track to be our Zonk game of the week for next week. The Las Vegas Raiders and the now former Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. Hoofa, what a disappointing game that's going to be. But we'll preview it on Thursday, on next Wednesday night, and then next Thursday night, starting next Thursday and for the rest of the season, the NFL show moves to Thursday. So there's that. So, and we'll get into the Week 14 action. Maybe we'll do a small recap of the Raider-Ram game if time permits, and then we'll preview the games of Week 14. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, Anthony Florio here for Good Old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, Michael Bullock, and the First Lady, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw the Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching the season finale of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday Championship Week Edition right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.